is Helen Paradise from SoCal, and you are listening to the BBQ Central Show.
Where's the cake? Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it, and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening, and welcome to the Really Big BBQ Central Show. This is the show that talks about everything that's important in the world of barbecue and grilling. This show originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evenings, a live fire, fun, and frivolity show. If you would like to get in contact with the show this evening, or you would like to follow the show during off-show hours, here's how you do all of that.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at BBQCentralShow.com. Follow us on all the social media channels at BBQ Central Show. And be sure to subscribe to the show podcast feed on your favorite podcast platform.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you get the newsletter coming up in about 12 minutes from now. We have what we call the open segment. Now, we did have a segment planned with barbecue icon, barbecue cookbook author, barbecue cooking class instructor. The list goes on and on and on. Stephen Reichlin, friend of show. However, we were not able to lock him down for a myriad of reasons. We talked about pre-recording a segment, tricking all of you. That didn't even work out. Needless to say, where Stephen thought he was going to be tonight didn't end up actually being where he was tonight. And we've decided that it would be better to reschedule. You know me when it comes to internet connections and, more importantly, sound quality. It is paramount. It is number one to the show, and since we were not going to be meeting either or both of those, we decided to put them off until September. So we have an open segment. But don't worry, I got it covered. Just relax, and then we will move to 35 past the first hour, where we will find our regular monthly visitor, the creator of CookoutNews.com, Wes Wright, will join the show, and we have plenty of business to talk about with Wes, and that'll bring a close to the first hour. Then we'll move to the second hour, where you will find a quarterly visit from the lady that has started the Hey Grill Hey brand of products and businesses. And it's a whole juggernaut out there as far as products and recipes, videos, personalities. The one and only Susie Bullock will be joining the show from Hey Grill Hey. And then closing out the show in the second hour, we have yet another open segment. But we have plenty to talk about, a lot of housekeeping items, some other things that we're going to be talking about. So that's how the show is laying out here this evening. Open, and then Wes Wright, and then Susie/Todd Bullock, second hour, and then closing it out, another open segment. Don't forget, you can follow me socially, Instagram, the Tweeter, TikTokers, and the Snapper Snaps, and LinkedIn's, all with the handle at BBQ Central Show. And, of course, we are saying good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of the video streaming platform partners. You can go to Facebook.com/BBQ Central Show, or you can go to Twitter.com/BBQ Central Show, or you can watch the show on YouTube, where there happens to be, which is youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show, where there happens to be a new YouTube poll question of the week, and it is as such, and we're asking everybody watching tonight through YouTube and all guests, do you prefer smash burgers or regular burgers? That's the question this evening, and, well, I didn't have this planned out very well as far as introductions, but you might have noticed that I am not in my normal seat. I'm not in... Well, this is my normal background, but not my normal background, because we have somebody new at the controls, the production and engineering board. You might know her as one of the BBQ Central Show American Idol music judges with a very sharp wit and sharp tongue. It is my middle daughter, Maddie Rempe, joining the show and editing it up. Maddie, how are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
All right. So what's the current YouTube poll question of the week results? Do you prefer smash burgers or regular burgers?
At 43%, we have smash burgers. Smash burgers.
All right. Give me the ding for smash burgers, of course.
Oh, yes, that's right. And 57% of people prefer regular burgers.
All right. So running right about 50-50, as we usually do here in the opening portion of the voting. We'll see how that goes through the rest of the program here this evening. Results from last week's poll. Have you purchased a bottle of Doug Scheiding's Row Cookers Rubs yet? That ended with 83% of you saying, indeed, no, you have not purchased a bottle of Doug's Rubs yet. Shame on each and every one of you that have not. They are just dynamite. I encourage you all to do that ASAP. But 17% of you said you did indeed order a bottle of Doug's Rub. So congratulations to you and for finding out what a great product he's putting out. So we're going to start here this evening. And last week it was a fabulous eulogy to the one and only Gigi, of course, who passed away a week and a half ago. But that event stymied my run-up from 2 weeks ago. You would remember that in the second hour, I was talking to the aforementioned Doug Scheiding from Row Cookers, and about 13 minutes into our interview, everything froze, and then everything ran away, and then 5 minutes later, we were back on the air. But that is the first time in recent memory that the show has dumped during live show hours. I've had dumps post-show hours. I've had dumps right before the show or right after the show. But I've always maintained to my computer person, I cannot have a freeze while the show is happening Tuesdays between 9 and 11. It just can't happen. Well, lo and behold, it just can't happen. Actually happened, and it happened to our pal Doug. So I lobbed an immediate email right after the show and said, hey, it happened. We can't have that happen. We're going to need to figure it out right now. So they remoted in the next day, and I was talking with a fellow by the name of a guy's name that I can't remember, and he seemed very smart, and he remoted right into my computer. And anybody that is older than me immediately is shitting bricks because they don't like to have anybody that they can't see getting into your computer. Maybe they're putting in Trojan horses or stealing your credit cards or liquidating your bank accounts or whatever it is that you're worried about, old people. But I pay these guys a premium dollar. So, well, I too am a little concerned sometimes about that. I let it go because what is first and foremost priority? Show continuity and consistency, which might be a little redundant. And here's what we found out. After deep diving, going through all the corruptions and all of the files and all of the logs that I don't know how to access because that's why I have experts, I was told that at that time, on that Tuesday, Windows decided to force an update. And with everything else going on at that point, you know, there was no pop-up window that said, would you like to update now? Or next time you restart, your computer's going to update, so change the settings if you don't want. I got none of that. All of a sudden, we're midstream answer with Doug Scheiding, and everything freezes. I immediately look down to see if my internet popped off, which has happened from time to time. I can't control the internet. But the computer I try to hope to control to the best of my ability. And Windows decided to take control of it. And it ruined everything for everybody for about 7 to 8 minutes. What have we learned? We learned that we can go into Windows Update, and we've now asked it to alert me before any of these things happen again. So that window will pop up lower right side of the main monitor. I can hit forget or not now or wait a few minutes so we don't have any of these errors again. Now, of course, I have to take the nerd at his word, but I will. Why not? All right, we got an open segment coming up, but before we do that, we have this important word from Maddie Rip.
Let's welcome the newest sponsor of the show, Schwenk Grills. Check out the grill that everyone is talking about. You're probably seeing it a lot on social media as well. It's the Schwenk Grill. So what do you need to know? This unit heats up to 1500 degrees using infrared burner technology. More on that in a second. What does that mean to you? Now you can grill the juiciest steaks you've ever tasted in as little as 40 minutes? No. 10 minutes? No. How about 3 minutes? Yes. No more wasting your life cooking the proteins you want. Schwenk does it quickly and with great results. This infrared burner technology is the same technology used by the world's best steakhouses, including Morton's Steakhouse, Del Frisco's, and Cut 432, just to name a few. Remember, at 1500 degrees, you can build that delicious crust on both sides of the steak without overcooking it, and the steak is incredibly juicy and flavorful. There's truly nothing like this grill. In fact, some call this the future of grilling. The drip tray benefits: melt butter, rest the proteins in a butter bath or a sauce you make to really add another level of flavor. Use your imagination and bring the flavor. Is it only a steak cooker? No, sir. Of course, it will handle the most robust meats, but it would also do equally as well with delicate fish fillets like salmon and cooks in 3 minutes, lobster tails in 5 minutes, chicken breasts in 3 minutes, shrimps and burgers of all kinds. And with 3 adjustable heats, you are able to manage the heat and intensify and how intense it hits the food. Do I hear a new addition to the backyards for grilling season? Indeed. But the Centralites want a deal. I know you guys, so I'm here to help. Right now, if you go to schwenkgrills.com and use promo code BBQ Central at checkout, you can save $150 off the Schwenk Grill. It's that easy to save money and enjoy restaurant quality heat. There's also a link in the show notes, the show newsletter, and you can go to the homepage of the show and click on the Schwenk Grills logo to get to the website. Once again, that promo code is BBQ Central, and the website is schwenkgrills.com. We will be right back.
Broadcasting live from the BBQ Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the BBQ Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
This portion of the BBQ Central Show is brought to you by cookinpellets.com, your #1 source for quality wood pellets for all you pellet-driven cookers. Visit cookinpellets.com for more information or to purchase. You can also visit amazon.com to purchase as well.
You are doing a dynamite read job, man.
I hope so.
Now, here's the question of the week.
What is it?
We were practicing and doing other stuff yesterday, I believe that was. But it's different when the lights are on, when the heat of the live stream is happening. Harder to do the live read live when people are watching, or not that big of a deal?
Yes. It's harder to do it when I know there's more people watching.
Yeah, of course.
I sound fuzzy. That's okay.
Well, you can talk louder and drop it 1 gain notch if you want. I think if you drop it one gain notch, then
I think that's going to make...
that'll help you.
You think?
I think.
Maybe this sounds better. I'm where I need to be on the thing, so we're
All
good.
right. Yeah.
We're good.
That's all we need to worry about. We need to worry about where you are on the thing, and nobody
Well, what
knows
is
what we're
it called?
talking about. That's fine. Oh, trust me, there's no reason to get into the technicalities of what we're looking at. We're the professionals out here. Everybody else is just consuming content. They don't care about -6 or -8 or anything like that. On the DBs, the DB meter, the LEDs, nobody cares about that.
All
right, let's go ahead and get a update on where we are with the smash burger or regular burger.
All right. 47% of people prefer smash burgers.
All right.
And 53% of people prefer regular burgers. But I don't want to do wrong answer for that.
We'll just do whatever's the bigger percentage.
Okay. Then I needed to do that backwards.
That's the ding.
Regular burgers.
Regular burgers. 53%.
Yeah.
Saying regular burgers. And I'm just looking through the chat here, and it looks like there's some people that are very happy that you are sitting around and hanging out here tonight. We'll get to why this is actually happening here in a moment. Dennis in Colorado is writing into the show. This one was from a few weeks back. Greg, had a great time listening and watching the show from this past Tuesday. Loved the interview with Aaron Franklin. I'm curious as to the item you hinted about that you couldn't quite report on. I was wondering if your computer crash had anything to do with CrowdStrike computer crash last week. Regards, Dennis. So, Dennis, as we've come to learn, we know exactly why the computer crash happened, as I just talked about in the show open. It definitely was not tied to that CrowdStrike thing. I do not have CrowdStrike on my show computers, nor am I a customer of CrowdStrike, so thank goodness for that. Now, the thing that you want to know about, I don't know if I should bring it up or not, but there's been a number of weeks that have elapsed, Dennis, from when you put in this question to me till where we are today. So I feel a little bit more confident that I can answer. It's probably not going to work its way back to Aaron Franklin unless somebody's listening that is very good friends with Aaron Franklin, and you're going to tattletale on me. But rule number 14 of the show is no tattletales. Nobody likes tattletales here on the show. I encourage you not to tattletale. Very juvenile. Maddie, do you tattle on your sisters?
Not anymore.
And what happens if you tattletale? You get smacked, right?
That, yeah.
That and? Were you adding more to the list?
Well, it doesn't have to do with tattletaling. Now that I just thought about it a little bit more. I just had to do when Bobby and I would fight.
Yes.
He would threaten to... I don't want to say it.
Say it.
Punch the baby.
That's right.
The baby being Marley. That's
right.
Wrong.
No, that's right. Look.
No.
To the new parents out there, if you have multiple kids and they're all youngish and you happen to have a newborn/infant, you can leverage the infant to your parenting ability. And what I mean is you have the two older ones, they're bickering back and forth. You tell them to stop a million times. They don't. So what's the next logical parenting step? Timeouts? Nonsense. Make them sit on the couch and hold hands that they don't want to do. That works in some families, but not in mine. The next logical parenting step for me, and I highly encourage you to make use of it, is to bring the infant out into the middle of the room where the altercation is happening and saying, look, the next time one of you does X or Y, I'm going to punch the baby. That's what we're going to do.
Don't do that.
And they look at each other. They become why would you hit Marley? Well, if you're not going to listen to me, somebody has to pay the price.
No.
And because you guys aren't listening, poor Marley, the infant, who has done nothing, will pay the price if you decide to keep this nonsense up. And what do we learn? All of a sudden, girls stop doing what I've asked them to stop doing for many times in a row. Marley doesn't get punched or beaten. Everybody lives happily ever after. And when some people hear this kind of a story, I get frowned upon as being perhaps a little aggressive as a parent, or maybe that wasn't the best thing to do. but he got the job done. And when you're young and you're an inexperienced parent, only having 2 kids under my belt at that time, I don't know what to do. So I throw things up against the wall, and punching the infant was the one that stuck. And, Maddie, if you ever get married and have kids, you'll be the first one leveraging the infant. I guarantee it.
I don't think
this is what happens if you don't break the cycle. You learn things, you don't realize it. You're gonna say, "I'm gonna punch that kid if you don't stop it." And you're gonna think of me when you do it.
I'm not gonna.
I'll probably be dead by then.
To be fair,
what?
Why would
my time is limited?
What?
I'm EOD. I'm 50 years old. 50. Back in the 30s, I would have been dead 5 years ago.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
In the 30s, the Great Depression.
Mm-hmm.
Not a long lifespan for humans back then.
Yeah, that's right. Oh.
So, Dennis, to answer your question, not CrowdStrike. And what is the thing that I hinted about? It is simply this. This is going to blow your mind. Give me a drum roll because this is something you're not going to believe. The secret item is that Aaron Franklin is in a rock and roll band. Not only that, he's the lead guitar player. Not only that, he's also the guy that writes all the songs and does all the arrangements. How about that? Probably didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Me either.
Till I saw, do you even know who Aaron Franklin is?
No, sorry.
Right. So when he was setting up for the interview, he had this really elite microphone, and I said, geez, I hear I'd been sending you one for all the other interviews. You have this whole setup. And he said, well, with the music thing. I said, what's with the music thing? I don't know anything about it. Well, I'm in a band. You're in a band? Yes. Do you play an instrument? Yes. Lead guitar player. Believe it or not, and I don't remember the name of the band, so I can't sell out that much. There's an album. His band has an album on the Spotifys if you use it to stream your music. In fact, if you're interested, email me right now, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. And in the subject line, put Aaron's band, and then I'll make sure that I go over into the Spotify and copy the link to his album. Here's what I'm going to say. It surpassed all of my expectations. If you want, I'm not going to critique music. That's not my bag. Although I'm very good at singing it. I won American Idol, believe it or not, in the last season that we did it. The lead singer gives a lot of Dave Grohl Foo Fighter. There's also some Foo Fighter guitar-ish riffs, sounds, general soundings. Also, a little bit of Queen of the Stone Age as well. So we're living in that, let's say, mid to late 90s grunge rock era. But again, it's like an EP. There's maybe 5-6 songs on the album. Surprisingly good. In fact, I shot him back a note the next morning when I was listening to it driving down to Columbus that following day. Listening back to the show as I always do to grade my talking and guest questions and things like this. And I shot him back a note. I took a picture of the entertainment system, said, listening to you and the band. Gotta say, surprisingly wonderful. An easy listen. How about that? Now, don't tell anybody I told you about this. I said, we got to talk about this on the show tonight. And he said, I'd really rather not talk about that. I said, really? Do you play outside of Austin? No, I play in Austin. Well, how big of a secret could it be? But I guess it's a pretty big secret because I didn't know anything about it. I know everything about everybody in the barbecue and grilling community, and I didn't know that he might. Here was another piece of information that you might want to know about this Aaron Franklin in a band. Aaron Franklin and his band toured. Believe it or not. They toured in clubs. They went around from town to town and did that thing. Believe it or not. So, I'm saying if you're into that kind of music and you're a fan of Aaron Franklin, you're probably not going to be disappointed. you might be pleasantly surprised. So, Dennis, that's what I was talking about. Long-winded way to get there, but we finally got there. Now, do you see on the soundboard, there's a thing that says Terry? Yeah. Terry in Kentucky. I said, Terry?
Mm-hmm.
Terry?
Terry.
Terry? Terry in Kentucky? Greg, you seem to go out of your way to clown the reporter who did the feature on you during last week's show for the News Herald. How about showing a bit more gratitude instead of being so inflammatory? Just saying. Love the show, podcast listener only. Regards, Terry.
Terry.
Do I sound like him?
No.
It's a little kid. Terry.
That's a little kid?
Yeah. Terry?
Oh. When I first heard it, it sounded like a middle-aged woman.
Oh, no, it's a little kid. Little background on Terry. Little background on that. This is a kid who was very pissed at how his New York Mets were playing a couple of years ago. The head coach, his first name was Terry. I forget what his last name was. And he started out his YouTube rant. He would go on YouTube and rant for minutes on end about how bad the New York Mets were. Well, believe me, kid, you got to be mega pissed. Well, they're a little better than they started out the season this year. But overall, you have to be pissed with how bad the New York Mets have been ever since Francisco Lindor landed over there. I mean, we got the better of that. We offloaded that chump and Cookie, although we got Cookie back. And we kept Jose Ramirez. We call him Hosey.
Steve loves him.
Signed him to a sweetheart hometown deal. And meanwhile, the Mets have sucked all along. So Mets fans, suck it, if you don't mind it, and suck it double. And I think the head coach got fired.
And he was Terry.
I don't know what his last name was, but his first name was Terry. Every time I hear that name, I just think of that kid.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that wasn't here.
No, but I always think of that kid. And then Terry from Kentucky writes in quasi-regularly. And then I always say it. Terry. Now I can go back and forth with him. Yeah. So, Terry, to answer your question, I seem to go out of my way to clown the reporter. Oh, let's agree to disagree. I didn't really clown her. I just basically recounted exactly what the lady told me she was going to do, which was A, notify me before the special ran. Didn't happen. And then 2, forward it to me before it ran so I could check it over. And what did we learn, Terry? We learned that she gave out misinformation. It might as well been Twitter that did the feature on me or anything on the internet, because you can't trust the internet. 200 to 300,000 live views each week. I wish. So I just gave you the full story. And at the end, I said I was very grateful. Any exposure to the show was good exposure, especially when I'm not really expecting it, and I did not expect to get this feature. But our good pal Joe Sakis, mayor of Wickliffe, said, hey, you go left when everybody else is going right. You have a conversation with this guy, and that's what she did. So I do thank her. It's just that what she said she was going to do in a follow-up stance, she did nothing of. So don't take it around. Yeah, there's Darwin Carlson is always already emailing me about Aaron's band. Darwin, I will get that to you a little later this evening. Post-show. So let me go back to my question here. So I again, let's get this all out in the open once and for all. Terry. 200 to 300,000 live views a week. Absolutely not. I wish. Thankful for the 2-page expose to the BBQ Central Show here, local Cleveland News Herald? Yes, of course. Thank you so much. Things that irritate me because I'm in sales and now I'm a director of sales, if you don't mind. Thank you very much. Do what you say you're going to do. If you're setting expectation and then you don't meet expectation, what does it lead to? Consternation and heartache every single time. If you boil everything down in your life that has stress, what can you actually boilerplate it to? Somewhere along the line, missed expectation. Boyfriend pissing you off? Why? Boil it all the way back down? Probably missed expectation. Husband mad? Wife mad? Work sucks? I'm guaranteeing you right now there's a 99.9% chance that there's a missed expectation along the way that has gotten you there. That's why it's important to try and live with zero expectations, because you're never then disappointed. Everything is a surprise. Every day's great. But if you can't not live with expectations, you have to temper and then set the right expectations. And if you're going to miss expectations, you should let somebody know in advance. Otherwise, you wind up on a crappy internet show where the host is telling the truth, and then you have some guy like Terry in Kentucky who tells you that you're being ungrateful. And Terry, I'm just saying the truth. Here's me setting expectation for you, Terry.
Terry?
I'll say your name 55 more times inside of the next 2 minutes, believe me. Now, there's something that I wanted to get to, and I'm not going to have time now because I was talking too much.
Just do it quick.
I don't want to do it quick. I want to lay it out. So, 10:35 segment, which is also open, I'll get into it.
Okay.
But just know this, I'm going to do a little teaser. Give me a full shot here, Maddie.
All right.
See the shirt? Oh.
Yeah, do you see it?
Yeah. See that shirt? I get a lot of emails saying, how do I get that shirt?
You can't.
It's a good question. Normally, you can't. You're right. But tonight, we're going to change it up. Also, I've got a lot of emails recently about, do you have merch? Do you have swag? Can I buy a t-shirt? Where are the stickers at? All will be revealed in about an hour's time. So for everybody that has been sending in the emails and asking about all this stuff, to my better judgment, I'm going against it. I'm going to tell you what I have planned, but it is going to be very detail-oriented. You got to follow the rules. No exceptions will be made. And if we can all agree on that as I'm setting proper expectations, Terry, you could possibly find yourself on the receiving end of a BBQ Central Show's 2024 t-shirt. Wow, I nailed it. I can't even see the clock. I'm all the way. I'm not even in my normal position. This is very different. It's very different, Terry. All right?
Terry?
All right, Maddie, tell me what's next.
Okay. Are you tired of settling for mediocre grilling experiences? It's time to step your game up and bring the ultimate flavor and cooker to your backyard barbecues. Pits and Spits Charcoal Grills offers the highest quality live fire cooking experience you can get in the market today. Using either wood or charcoal, their solid fuel grills produce those classic flavors you're looking for when you have the time to fire up the grill and cook for family and friends. With a large adjustable fuel tray, you can raise and lower the fire to control and fine-tune the heat. This is their take on the very popular Santa Maria style grill. Check them out at pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central and use promo code Charcoal Central for $150 off any charcoal grill. That's promo code Charcoal Central, and the website is pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central. Double T on the pits and the spits. We'll be right back.
Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the BBQ Central Show.
This segment is brought to you by Fireboard. Monitor up to six different temperatures simultaneously. Connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring or connect via Bluetooth. And if you have Alexa or Google Assistant in your home, you are in luck because Fireboard is fully integrated with both. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232 today.
We love Fireboard. Look at you multitasking over there. Locking, unlocking,
I
forgetting
forgot.
that you have many logistics. Can you believe I'm doing all of this by myself for 16 years?
I've been doing it for 3 days.
Like 2 days.
No, 3.
No, not 3
wait.
days.
Yeah, 2.
Barely 2.
2. Yeah,
One
you're
and a
right.
half.
You're right.
My next guest tonight
right.
runs cookoutnews.com's website and is the third Tuesday of the month regular guest here 35 past the first hour. Here to talk about the latest news and live fire industry topics. It's our pal Wes Wright joining us here on the show. Wes, how are you tonight, my friend?
Good. How are you doing, Greg?
I'm doing great. I have a producer this evening. More on that as we get into the second hour. We have a YouTube poll question of the week, of course, and we're asking everybody this, Wes, smash burgers or regular burgers?
I'm going to go smash burgers.
Smash burgers, all right. Maddie, where's the YouTube voting public at with smash or regular?
We are now at 47% of people preferring regular burgers and 53% preferring smash burgers.
Oh, we've done a complete 180 since we've checked it last time. It was regular burgers winning, and now it's smash burgers. I love smash burgers more than I've ever loved regular burgers, and I was a regular burger lover forever. Are you a quick convert, Wes, or did it take a little time for you to switch?
No, I liked them right away. I like regular burgers too. I think what happens a lot of times, especially I'd say leading into the time period of smash burgers, is people kept getting like thicker and thicker with regular burgers, which to me was like way too thick. You're just like eating ground beef.
I think smash burgers require no more than 3-ounce meat patty balls, and then you really got to hammer down. I think people go light on the squish, and you really have the Pits and Spits smash burger patty circular thing, right?
Yeah, that's very easy to use compared to using like a spatula. I've bent too many spatulas doing that. But yeah, theirs is hefty, and you push it down. You want to go real thin on it because that's how you get that crust.
Yeah, and then hold it down for like 7 to 10 seconds so that meat really adheres to the griddle, and then you can start to actually work it around. It kind of slides over the top, and you can really get that lattice work going. Anyway, Wes and I are not here to give you smash burger lessons. You can contract us privately in order to do that while we charge you exorbitant fees so we can line our pockets. Wes, let's talk about business here tonight, and certainly no surprise, wireless thermometers once again lead the show. We had talked a little bit about the ThermoWorks RFX, I believe, last time you were on, because I had just gotten back from a event over at ThermoWorks HQ in Utah. But we have a couple new ones coming to market. We have a Fireboard Pulse, and leading tonight is the new Meter release, which, you know, me and Meter have been at odds for years and years, well before Traeger got their hands on it. So what do we know about the new Meter release?
Yeah, the new Meter takes off that Meter Pro, which used to be a Meter 2 Plus that they released, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, something like that. And it comes in a 4 Pro block, and it uses the block as a gateway, so it can go through Wi-Fi. And it also addresses the complaint that before you used to have to charge them with batteries, and this one you can charge with a USB-C cord. So it's a little more convenient.
Some of the new offerings in this category are offering, let's call it the sub 1G or sub 1 gigahertz in order to really give you some long distance and connectivity. Is Meter running along the Sub 1G line as well?
I'm not sure about that. I know I thought they run off Bluetooth, but I'd have to look at what they're running. And they're actually beyond those names. Even Rectech actually came out with a Ford Pro block. I think it's something generically named. So everyone's doing it.
Is there a chance that Meter has white labeled?
I don't think so. They all look different enough. And what's funny is just, randomly people reach out to me through my website, obviously. And I get companies from China that'll reach out to me and like say, hey, do you want to make a pizza oven or like whatever? But I'd say like 3-4 months ago, I had a company in China reach out to me to try to sell me like in bulk wireless temperature probes. And actually they sell them on Alibaba too. You can buy like a wireless temperature probe. I think it was even like a 2 probe with a reader, which I thought was kind of neat. And it's only like $20-$30. And if you buy like 10, you can get a logo on it or something like that. I thought about just for an article, just buying those and seeing how much they suck or how they stack up to some of these nice ones that are coming out, and then giving them away on my newsletter or something like that.
Did we talk about Fireboard the last time you were on, Wes? The Pulse?
We talked about it. I think when you had on the co-founder of Fireboard, we talked about it that time. And then we also talked about ThermoWorks too.
Have you gotten your hands on the Pulse by chance to play around with it at all?
I haven't any of those new ones. I haven't messed around with too much.
Let's pontificate, because no one follows business in this industry like you do. So let's say a ThermoWorks or a Fireboard becomes stout competition for Meter. They are generally working on the same kind of technologies, all these wireless thermometers, wireless probes. Do you think either Fireboard or ThermoWorks could see a lawsuit heading their way? Because as we know, Traeger does have some history with that kind of a thing.
Yeah, I think it's possible depending on how they're executing their technology. One thing too, Traeger released earnings last week, and while they've had the success of Meter for, all the way through the pandemic earnings where the grills were getting crushed, they were selling a lot of thermometers. They actually had a drop in sales in Meter thermometers, and they're talking about putting them more at retailers that they work with, and as opposed to just like a D2C brand. But back to your question, if with increased competition, Meter, which they were owned by, I think it's called Aption Labs, originally was the company that made Meter that Traeger bought. There's patents not just around, the wireless technology, but also there's patents about how temperature reading is used. So they call out in their patent that usually wireless thermometers only read temperature in a passive sense, and theirs are reactive. So they predict this is how long until your steak is done, things like that. So, they do have patents not only limited to just the technology itself, but how it's used within the apps. So it wouldn't be shocking to see something around that.
There's a number of wireless thermometers that are predictive as well. Fireboard predictive, Combustion Inc. predictive, again, all wireless. I don't think the ThermoWorks one, for whatever reason, was showing a predictive option, if I remember correctly, even in the event that they had us out to. I want to say they made specific instance of saying they weren't putting that in there because they didn't find that there was any real value in it, or they couldn't really hone it in to a point where they felt comfortable offering it. So but the other two, absolutely. So they, that could be even more of a scary situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if Meter feels that's a differentiator for them, and they see that other companies are doing it in a similar way, why not? Personally, to me, I don't think I would use it very much. Have you ever tried it? I haven't.
No,
never messed around with it.
No.
I just look at the number.
Nexgrill is coming out with a new 7-burner gas grill for a value price. What can you tell us about this particular cooker?
Yeah, this one is different. They're known for partnering with Home Depot, most of their grills are sold through Home Depot, I'd say.
Yep.
This one was a Costco partnership for it's 6 burners and 1 side burner. It's value priced. It's like all their grills, and that's a lot of burners.
In a land of growing shine and polish, or let's call it stainless, this grill comes in black and only black. Good move?
I think it makes sense for Nexgrill because it probably keeps the cost down. Any kind of variation on that, I would imagine, makes manufacturing more difficult. So for them, if they can, keep it black, it's pretty standard. They can keep their price down, which is key to them.
One of those burners is for a side burner, so they call it a 7-burner grill. Now, when I hear that, I'm thinking 7 burners in the main chamber, and then anything ancillary is separate and shouldn't be included. But that's how they're going about saying a 7-burner option. Let's say 6 burners with a most likely worthless side burner, but 6 burners is a lot for sure. Is too much? Is it too much or too big?
I don't think I've ever used a grill more than 4, which has been adequate.
Oh, yeah.
6 burners, it's a lot of burners. I think, could you kind of fine tune it a little bit? Maybe I'd have to test that. But I wouldn't turn it down though either. If I see a 6-burner grill and it's priced right, and then next to a 4-burner, why not? It's more burners, right?
What's the price of the 7-burner one we're talking about?
In store, it's $3.99.
$3.99?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a big boy for $400. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's a sizable grill, and $400, you can't beat it. If you get a couple seasons out of it, you're winning.
Shit, if you get one out of it, you're winning for that price.
Yeah, it has stainless steel burners, I want to say. So yeah, I mean it's amazing that they can keep the cost that cheap with that many burners.
Last question before I let you go tonight, Wes. Always appreciate the time. Camp Chef is doing a collaboration. Guy Fieri is throwing in with one of the leading pellet grills on the market today. What can you tell us about the collab?
Yeah, he signed a multi-year agreement with Camp Chef to, I'm sure there's some marketing to it, but also to co-brand products. And the first one they released of that is I think it's called the Flavortown Woodwind Pro. So it's that Camp Chef Woodwind Pro with the smoke box, that, pull out slide mechanism that you can put wood chunks in to add more smoke to your pellet grill. The Flavortown version though has, Guy Fieri, I'll call it, badging on it. His autograph, it's got some other cosmetic touches. It's like more black than the regular Woodwind Pro with like a diamond plate aesthetic in the bottom shelf. And then the only real thing that could add to the performance is the handle on the smoke box. Looks like it's a little more beefier, which that's a complaint I've heard about with the regular version. And it carries a price tag of about $100 more than the regular version. It's a limited edition too.
Do you think Guy Fieri moves the needle in the industry?
I'd say that's borderline. He has crossover with food, obviously. But, and I don't know. I'd love to get your thoughts on it, actually. I know anytime I write an article about, a celebrity or a football player that's partnering with a grill company, no one reads it. So, I can't imagine that that anyone's going to like jump just because a celebrity is like, look at, the Snoop Dogg Solo Stove thing that they had where, their quarter then sucked and they fired their CEO. I just, in my experience, I don't see it unless it's somebody like that's really within that niche. Like if it's like a barbecue celebrity, you might be able to sell some units. So Guy Fieri is kind of borderline where, it's possible, but I think a lot of it, for what you'd spend, you might not get a good return out of it.
There's no doubt. Huge star, one of the biggest personalities on Food Network. I don't know where that translates into however many legions of fans that he has to a positive outcome for Camp Chef doing this collab. I think if they would have partnered with Susie Bullock, who will be on the show in the second hour, I think they see a better ROI partnering with Susie and having her do some stuff because she's got a very allegiant and also what I would call a warm market for outdoor cookers, right? I mean, plus she's used the Camp Chef. I think she's a big fan. They don't have any business relationship to my knowledge, but I think that would have been a much better play, in my opinion. Obviously, Camp Chef thinks he's going to move the needle for them. Any idea how much they might be paying him? And did they give you any term for as long as, like, how long their relationship was going to last?
No, they didn't release any of those details, but I think his last contract with Food Network was estimated at $100 million for 3 years. So you'd have to imagine a marketing partnership would be in the millions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
You know, to make it worth his time of doing that. So that's a lot of money to spend on that. And, you know, especially because I agree with you, you know, someone like Susie, and she may have even reviewed a Woodwind Pro that I feel like I watched that on YouTube.
Yeah,
before.
I think so.
So, you know, to me, like what they're doing when they try to partner with a celebrity is you're trying to market to people that don't buy grills and expand the market. But I feel like even those people then go and Google it and say, what grills do people like, which returns people that are into grilling and what they recommend. So, you know, I don't know, but yeah, it's got to be millions of dollars. I mean, what do you think that goes for to partner like that?
I wish I could make a guess. I thought I heard a quote for a personal appearance was $300,000 at one point. This was a good couple of years ago because I quickly did the math, like how many do I got to do to get towards $1 million, or if I did one a week or if I did one a month, you know, how much could that get me through the year and this and that and the other thing. So, but it was a pretty significant quote for just personal appearance, and that's, you know, nowhere, you know, near that kind of money that I think he's probably getting from a Camp Chef. So maybe more news will come out, and we'll see if this actually takes off or if this is more of a Snoop Dogg thing where everybody talked about it for a hot second. I don't even think anybody's even talking about it. It's just us two. And we'll see where it goes from here. You can read about all the stuff that we've talked about here this evening by going over to cookoutnews.com, and you can hear Wes on this show the third Tuesday of every month in the first hour, 35 past. Wes, always appreciate the time, and we will see you in September.
Sounds good. Thanks, Greg.
That's our pal Wes Wright over there from cookoutnews.com. And again, feel free to head on over to his website and read a little bit more in depth on all the stuff we had talked about here. We have time. What's our time clock, Matt?
We're at 3 minutes and 8 seconds.
We have what's the
time?
actual time?
Oh, it's 9:53.
53?
53.
All right, we got time. Go ahead. Hit the read.
Okay. Let me put me up on here. What do we love about ceramic cookers? We love that they are fuel efficient. We love that you can achieve low and slow temperatures for traditional barbecue meats. We love that you can get rip-roaring hot for high temperature grilling of steaks and other thin cuts. But what's missing in the everyday lineup of ceramic cookers? The real ability to do true two-zone cooking. Two-zone cooking is very important to both a professional and backyard cook. It's the best way to manage a fire and cook with confidence. However, getting a two-zone fire in a round ceramic cooker is not very realistic. Why? Because it's round. Enter Primo grills and their game-changing oval design. This shape gives you the ability to execute the two-zone setup that you desire. It also gives you the other ceramic grill benefits as well. Really, when you break it down, there are more than 60 different ways to configure the Primo cooker, so you are only limited by your culinary imagination. Here's the bottom line. The best ceramics in the biz, patented technology, true two-zone cooking capabilities, multiple sizes, and yes, if you just have to have a round one, they have those too. But really, consider the oval for Pete's sake. Visit PrimoGrill.com for dealers near you or check them out on Facebook or Instagram. Who's ready for a Primo? I'm ready for a Primo. PrimoGrills.com.
continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the BBQ Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
This portion of the show is brought to you by a pit barrel cooker, the most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet, currently available in 3 sizes with a host of accessories. Whether you're a beginner or professional, this is definitely a cooker you want to add to your arsenal. Visit pitbarrelcooker.com. Tell them the BBQ Central Show sent you.
That was my fault. That was supposed to be a second-hour read.
Oh.
I didn't say it. Shame on me. I need to be up higher.
We did this all last night.
I hate... No. Like this chair. I just hate this chair.
Do you want this one?
No.
Okay.
That'll ruin everything. It'll ruin the whole aesthetic. What's our real time on that clock on the software program?
9:55 p.m.
No, up here. No, on the Sam broadcaster. What time does it say?
21:56.
21:56.
I'm confused what you're talking about.
Yeah, 21:56, and I need the seconds too.
Oh, 10.
Because at 21:59, 35. It's automatically going to fire into the second hour. We're talking about logistics that nobody has any idea what we're talking about.
So I shouldn't have done that read.
That's fine.
Oh.
2 in the first hour, 2 in the second hour. I didn't tell you. Shame on me. You know who's having fun at my expense? Terry.
I was waiting for it. You didn't answer the poll.
Terry, don't. I did. I answered Smash Burgers. But we'll get to where the poll results are here
after
in just a second. We do thank our pal Wes Wright for joining us last segment, talking about wireless thermometers and the new ones that are coming out. Also, the 7-burner gas grill, which is really 6 burners on main chamber, 1 burner for a side burner, for $399 in store. Maddie, if I told you could have a 6-burner gas grill, brand spanking new, for $399, you'd be pretty gassed about that, right? No pun intended.
Yeah, that's a good. I think
it's a great price.
Good price.
It's a very good price. Like I said, even if you only get 1 or 2 seasons out of it.
Good.
The members mark Pro Series grill that I have out back at Sam's is $699. Now it has patented barbecue thermostatic control technology that Nexgrill doesn't have, but that's a 5-burner grill. This one's even bigger.
Yeah.
Where are we on the time?
21:57:56.
All right.
We got 2 minutes. A minute.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we're not going to run out of music bed before we run out of time, are we?
No.
No?
No.
All right. I know you can do math better than me.
Oh, we might. Oh, we will.
You can just, like, use your mouth and... mouse and click. See, like that progression bar?
Yeah.
You can, like, click to the back of it, and it'll bring it back.
Okay.
Nobody will notice. It's all like a loop bed anyway, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
They might notice now.
No.
They'll not know. They won't know.
Yeah, they won't notice.
Whenever I do it.
Well, I'm talking, so you can do it, and that way it's actually even like less of a transition. So
yeah,
if you just do it that way, they'll hear my voice, and they're none the wiser. So.
They'll never know.
Yeah, they probably didn't ever know.
Yeah.
Did you do it?
No.
Why didn't you do it? I was just trying to fill a whole bunch of time. Oh, I didn't mean like go back all the way to the beginning.
Oh,
that's fine. It's fine. We're all learning together.
Way to go.
All right, so we're not going to have a lot of time in the open, but are Susie and Todd in the box?
Yeah.
They are?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you only have 10 seconds.
Oh, all right. Well, we're pointing to the second hour. Stick around. We'll be right back.
This is Dino Dan from Cypress, California, and you're watching the BBQ Central Show.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle. Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude.
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 2 feet or wiener.
Oh, listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
And just like that, we are into the second hour. It's the BBQ Central Show, where we talk about only the most high-level barbecue and grilling items that are occurring today, this week, through the next number of weeks and months. We'll see what happens. This is why we do it live every week. Still to come on this show this evening, Susie and Todd Bullock from HeyGrillHey.com. And we are open to close the show, so no reason to rush through Susie and Todd, but we will talk about the tease of the BBQ Central Show shirt that I talked about in the top of the show. Also, a number of other items that I want to talk about, not the least of which is why we have a engineer and producer on the show this evening. It's kind of usually the background, but I have the old microphone. I have this chair that I hate, and I'm sitting in a completely different spot in the studio. But we are doing it because we're announcing it here live right now. I got breaking news. Give me the breaking news.
A BBQ Central Show exclusive news update.
Greg Rempe reporting the breaking news desk here in Cleveland, Ohio, the city that breaks the most live-fire breaking news across the country. Nay, the globe. In a week's time, August 27th, where I was going to have to cancel the show because of a work obligation, which I hate. This lady that you see to the left of me, my middle daughter, Maddie Rempe, said, yeah, I'll pick up that slack. I'll run the show live. I said, you run the show live? You've never done a show in your life. I can do it.
Yes, I will.
I said, all right, well, let's do it.
I'm going to do it.
So next Tuesday, while your humble host will not be here, your humble co-host will be here and just give a smidge of what the listeners might expect next week, or tell them what they cannot expect next week, if that would be easier.
Okay, so don't expect anything that my dad normally talks about. So that includes barbecue and grilling. I will not be talking about that because I don't have a lot of knowledge on that topic myself.
You just eat it.
I just eat it. But you guys are more than welcome to ask me questions, and I'll answer them. That would be fun.
What kind of questions?
Like they could ask
cooking
me,
questions?
Like, do I have a favorite food you make?
Yeah.
Or do I have a favorite this?
How would you do this? How would you do that?
How would I do this? I'd give it to my dad. That's the answer every time.
Right.
Do I cut the membrane off my ribs?
Do you?
I don't make ribs.
Oh. You should.
I should what? Make ribs or cut the membrane off? You take the membrane
Maybe
off.
both. I do.
Yeah, I knew that.
I'm going to stop it, though.
Why?
Aaron Franklin said don't do it.
Okay, Aaron.
So I'm going to stop it.
Well,
I
listen.
mean, you know Aaron. We just found out he's a rock star.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively, both in the barbecue world and in the music world.
That's true.
And I said I pulled 8 membranes off of 8 racks of ribs, of course. But I didn't want to do it. And he said, don't do it. Just stop it. We don't do it at the restaurant. None of the best Texas restaurants are pulling rib membranes. We'll ask Susie and Todd next segment if they're membrane pullers. On the back of baby back ribs, yes, but it's a whole different process. Very, very easy. There's a whole little thing you can do, and you just pull them off in one yank, but not on spare ribs. Spare ribs are much more labor intensive, and even if it's taking you 30 to 45 seconds, well, that's pretty much a minute almost. And if you have 8 racks of ribs, that's 8 minutes that you can't get back from your life.
That is true.
We say good evening to those of you. Well, so Maddie will be hosting the show live next week.
Oh, yes.
Because I will not be here because of a work requirement.
Yes. I guess I could give you a hint of what I would be talking about. I'm pretty sure my younger sister Marley is coming on. You guys know her.
Also, a song reviewer, yeah.
Yes, and then I'm pretty sure Steve is coming on.
Army Steve. Soldier of the Year.
This is true. And then I may or may not be having a special interview with somebody I cannot disclose.
Wow. In studio?
Yes.
Oh, all right. I don't even have to send any gear out. Great.
Special guest. And then you may or may not be back.
You need to keep your mouth towards the microphone.
Sorry.
Don't look at me.
Okay.
You can see me right there.
No, I can't.
Don't you have the screen up?
No, you told me not to put it up.
No, I didn't.
You said this is what you look at. So I'm looking. Hold on. I'll put it up. There, it's up. Okay, now I can see.
Yeah.
Well, no, you won't have to send anything out.
Right. Is it a big name?
I forgot what I was saying.
You have a big name coming in studio next week.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And that's all I can say.
Oh, yikes. All right.
It's a secret.
We say good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of our video streaming platform partners, Facebook.com/BBQ Central Show, the Twitter.com/BBQ Central Show. Also on YouTube, which is YouTube.com/@BBQ Central Show. We also have a new YouTube poll question of the week, and we're asking everybody this.
Sorry.
Do you like smash burgers or do you like regular hamburgers? Where are we at, Maddie?
We are at 48% prefer regular burgers.
What?
And 52% prefer smash burgers.
Oh, right. So smash burgers are still in the lead. I believe it or not, I looked at it while you were doing the last read.
Yeah.
It had flip-flopped. It is now flip-flopped again back to smash burgers in the lead.
Yeah. At one point, it was 50-50.
Coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show this coming Friday, episode 347, taking you back to August 26, 2008, featuring longstanding guest of this show. At one point, a monthly guest, believe it or not, the author of the Barbecue Bible, amongst many, many other live fire books, our pal Steven Reichlin, who was supposed to be on in the first hour. This wasn't the first time he was on this show, but it might have been the first time he was on the show during its live version. And yes, John, I do know my Steven Reichlin show history. Steven was my first big-named guest when I was just doing the podcast show. He was the biggest name that I'd got at that point, even before the live version started in 2008. Steven even sneaks in some French words at the tail end of the clip, so be ready for that. Steven, always a great guest. So be ready this coming Friday for another great Best Moment show. You can subscribe to that by visiting the website, thebbqcentralshow.com/subscribe. And don't forget, if you want to hear a guest or segment again on the show that's been lost in the archives, email John and let him know you would like to hear JON at thebbqcentralshow.com, and he'll do his best to meet your expectations. The Famous Dave's All-Star Barbecue Series rolled into Sioux City, Iowa this past weekend, and winning it was none other than Mad Chad's Barbecue, Reserve Grand Champion, Rack Shack Barbecue, both the Grand Champion and Reserve Grand Champion, earned spots in the 2024 World Food Championships in the barbecue division. That happens this coming November in Indianapolis, Indiana. And the next and last Famous Dave's All-Star Barbecue Series event is this coming Saturday, August 24th in Columbia, Maryland. And believe it or not, as of 5 hours ago, there was still one spot open. So if you want to take part in the very last Famous Dave's All-Star Barbecue Series event for this season, at least, as we wrap up season number 2, there is one spot left for you to try your hand at not only winning that, but qualifying for the 2024 World Food Championships in Indianapolis, Indiana. You can find out all the past results by visiting the website, worldfoodchampionships.com/allstars. And can we go back to the Best Moments promo just for a second? Am I the only one that becomes immediately annoyed when a traditional English speaker then starts to speak French? If Steven would speak Italian or German or Spanish or pretty much any other language, I wouldn't even think twice about it. But the second that French starts coming out of his mouth, my annoyance level spikes. I find it highly annoying. Maddie, if somebody starts speaking French that you know to be a normal English speaker, do you find that to be annoying, or am I way off base?
I think it depends on how much they're forcing a French accent when they're speaking French. Like if they're
Isn't
just,
that part and parcel?
Like, I don't know what that means.
Like if I was going to speak French right now, am I forcing a French accent? By the way, that wasn't French for anybody that was trying to figure out what I just said.
I don't know.
Well, you speak French, Maddie. Give me some French. No? Je m'appelle Maddie.
Like, that's forcing a French accent.
Yeah.
But if I was just going to say it like this, I would say, bonjour, je m'appelle Maddie.
But that's too American.
Well,
people outside of America. People outside of America hate
I'm in America.
Americans. Yes, I understand. But it shows maybe a lack of interest on the American side that you're really trying to be authentic for the country you're trying to speak in.
Maybe.
You remember that? What's her name from Food Network? Giada. She would talk regular, because she's an American. And then whenever she would get to an Italian word, she would gimmick up and go ultra Italian, try and say it like.
But doesn't she speak Italian?
Big deal.
And isn't her family from Italy?
I don't know anything about it. All I know is she's giving you direction and recipe, what have you. Are we paused?
Yes.
Oh, you got to tell. We got to stay on time. We got Susie and Todd waiting in the green room. What are you doing?
You were going on about French.
But I'm not important. I'm just trying to fill time. All right, look.
All right, here
we have many important. Susie, Todd, forgive me. We're learning on the job.
Forgive me. I'm sorry.
Forgive me. You can yell at her in a moment.
Yeah, go ahead.
In the meantime, Maddie, pay a bill.
Okay. The backyard version of the famed pits built by Aaron Franklin for his renowned barbecue restaurant in Austin, Texas. Franklin Barbecue, built for those barbecue purists who want to take their craft to the next level. What you have with the Franklin pit is a deeply thought out and refined version of the old propane tank style cookers that Aaron built for Franklin Barbecue. Stylistically, it reflects the kind of bare bones, industrial, handmade aesthetic he loves, as in the patina and the way the build allows you to see the welds and the craftsmanship. The schematics of a Texas-style offset barbecue pit are relatively simple, even if the things that happen inside reflect complicated dynamics of physics and chemistry. There are very few moving parts here. Numerous and massive differences divide this Franklin pit from the average barbecue smoker sold at a big box store. For one, much of the challenge of building and shipping these pits come with the thickness and heaviness of the materials, but also much of the value. Cheap smokers are made from thin metal. Not only does cheap material tend to warp and crack when sustaining the kind of heat you need to make great brisket, but especially on a cold day, the thinness of the metal just sheds the heat and struggles to maintain consistent temperatures. The Franklin pit is primarily made of 5/16 and 1/4 inch thick American-made steel. That's strong. Anything that sees heat is engineered to be incredibly solid and should last a century or more if cared for properly. The thickness of that steel guarantees professional-grade heat retention, which is a critical component to making great barbecue. Every Franklin pit is unique unto itself with its to include their own natural markings and its own badge number. Franklin pits can be found at fine barbecue specialty stores in select regions of the country. If you, the listener, are an owner of such a store and wish to become a certified Franklin dealer, please visit franklinbarbecuepits.com and fill out the dealer form. If you, the listener, want to own a Franklin pit and live in a part of the country that doesn't have a certified Franklin dealer nearby, you can also visit franklinbarbecue.com and purchase a pit. Franklin Pits will ship a Franklin pit to your driveway.
All right. Very good. Maddie, thank you very much. And
that was long.
We have Susie and Todd Bullock from Hey Grill Hey ready to come on, so stick around. We'll be right back.
Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the BBQ Central Show.
All right, welcome back. Leading off the second hour, joining me for what I believe is her third quarterly appearance in 2024 is the creator of the Hey Grill Hey brand, Susie. And, of course, Todd Bullock joining us here on the show. All right, guys. Wait, it's just a Susie. No Todd?
Todd had to go record his own podcast tonight.
Food Idiot?
The Foodiot podcast. Yeah, Foodiot is recording tonight.
Foodiot. Oh.
He is coming with me. We are going out to the Key West Invitational, and we're leaving tomorrow. So he had to change his podcast recording schedule to accommodate our travels and barbecue competing. So.
All right. Well, I was yammering on and on. No, that's fine. I mean, I love Todd not as much as you do, but if he can take part in the show, I mean, it's value add. But if not, we have the engineer behind the brand anyway, Susie, the most important person, of course. So, do you need to take a few minutes of issue with my daughter for letting me go on and on about my annoyance with French people or not French people, but Americans who are talking regular English, and then as soon as they go into French, it annoys me, and then she just let me go on and on, taking away from your time?
No, I love her, Maddie. Oh. Carry on.
All right,
Maddie.
Maddie, do you have any questions for Susie? And I mean, this is a very big star here. She was on TV. She's a brand expert, recipe creator, a captain of industry.
Not at the moment. No. I was going to wait until the end of the segment.
We can take questions.
Questions came from there.
You raise your hand if you got a question for Susie as we get through the minutes here of the conversation, and we'll go from there. HeyGrillHey.com, the website, of course, and at HeyGrillHey on social medias. We have a YouTube poll question of the week, Susie, that we're asking everybody. Smash burgers or regular burgers? What do you like?
I am a regular burger girl. I don't think there's anything more delicious, more nostalgic than a classic 80-20 ground beef patty with beef rub on a charcoal grill. My family might disagree. I think they request smash burgers more regularly, but man, I'm a charcoal medium burger girl through and through. And I feel like smash burgers, there's just no way to do them anyway, but kind of well done to get the crispy edges, which is good, but
Maddie, where are we at on results for burgers?
44% prefer regular burgers and 56% prefer smash burgers.
Well, look, over the course of the show, minority. It is switched back and forth 5 or 6 times. Regular burgers have been in the lead, and then the next time we check, it's smash burgers, and then it flip-flops back and forth. I have fallen deeply, deeply in love with the smash burger, and I was late to the game. Like, there was years of smash burger experience that had been laid down on all kinds of video platforms and stuff, and then finally I decided to do it once, and I was like, woof, this is absolutely crazy.
I think I took the same ride on that roller coaster, and I swung for a while towards the smash burger realm, but I have come back to a traditional burger on a charcoal grill.
Charcoal grill's key. That's a whole different flavor monster on its own, too.
That's the answer.
Yeah. What about regular burger on a pellet cooker?
I like smoked burgers, but only if I can finish them over high heat.
Do you want the crust?
You need
Do you
the
like
texture.
medium rare burger? Like you like pink in your
I'll eat a
ground
medium,
beef?
a little
Yeah?
bit of pink. Yeah. I know it's a bad idea, but I live on the edge.
I get competing information. I've heard from what I think are fairly expert folks saying if you grind your own meat and you know where it's come from, that you can get away with a medium rare burger. Now, from a texture standpoint, I'm not a medium rare burger guy, but I'll certainly venture into pink. I've had no problem with that. And then I've heard other people go, no, you can't do that. Meathead says take your large cut of meat and then dip it quickly in boiling water to kill everything that's on the surface. That way you're not grinding everything. What's your take on meat grinding?
I understand all of it, and I have ground my own burgers, and I will often grind my brisket trimmings to make my own brisket patties for burgers. So I understand the whole process and the food safety of it, and I certainly think it is recommended that if you are going to do a medium burger, grind your own and make it happen that way. But I also am not scared of eating a burger at 145 if I bought the whole muscle meat from the butcher and have them grind it for me. So, like I said, I'm a little bit risky, but there's the disclaimer that they put on all of the bottom of the restaurant menus, right? If you're ordering undercooked or if you're eating undercooked, you're at risk and you're gambling. And most restaurants, they're not grinding their own whole muscles in the back. And if they are, you have no idea what their care practices are. And so it's on you to assume the risk of that. And I think it's the same at home. If you're not super confident with food safety practices and a little pink makes you nervous, go well done or try a smash burger. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not scared of a little bit of pink in there.
I think there is a sweeping misconception that when you do a smash burger, you're squeezing all the juice out of it. And if you're executing it properly, it does maybe appear to give that aesthetic. But man, they are easily some of the juiciest burgers I've ever made. Stack 2, 3 on top of them. You got the cheese melting, and then you take that bite. I mean, it's coming down your chin. It's a great burger.
Yep. It's not that they're not juicy and delicious. It really is kind of a final texture situation that I think it really comes down to.
Middle of June, so a couple months ago, you had the distinct privilege or unhonor of actually meeting me in person at the ThermoWorks event in Utah.
We did. After years of quarterly segments.
Yes. Name one thing that surprised you about me in a live setting.
You're a volleyball parent. I didn't realize that. I am also a volleyball parent.
Well, so we're in two different lifespans at this point in volleyball parenting. So you have like the little kids. I've lived it now twice and we're through it. So like, where are you?
We're in the early stage.
Are
My
you
daughter's
travel?
playing sophomore volleyball.
Sophomore in high school? Oh,
yes.
yeah.
And she is on a travel club team that plays in the spring. So we are in it. Yes.
What's the level of the travel? So I'm not going to take a dump on high school volleyball, but if there are collegiate aspirations, travel is where it's at, because you can go to a tournament and all these college coaches come outside of their own season, so it's not competing. I mean, nobody goes to a high school to watch one player anymore unless it's football, and that's the only sport. Everything else is travel. So now they can go to Chicago or Salt Lake and watch 300 girls at this particular age that they're trying to recruit, and they do it all in the weekend, and logistically it's convenient. What level are we shooting for with your daughter right now?
She's on a team that's hoping to make a national bid this year, and if they do, I think we'll end up in, I don't know. I can't even remember.
Wherever the national is going to be.
Yeah, wherever it is. We'll see. But she's a very social player. She likes the friends and the team building. I don't know how competitive she actually is. So we'll see, but she's loving it for now.
But she's on a team that is, so each club rank, they have national teams and then they have American teams and then regional. She's on national?
That's what she's trying for this year.
Oh,
so
okay.
we'll see.
Yeah. All right. What position?
She is an outside hitter.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
She
She was a
jumped?
middle blocker for a while, but she can jump.
All right. Right-handed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, I guess she'd be an opposite. She'd be a key opposite too, left-handed, because then it's like you got two outside hitters.
know.
Or this isn't a
So hard
volleyball
to
show,
block.
but if you ever have any
Anyway,
questions,
but that was
I mean,
surprising.
wow, I'm such an expert. I can
Look at us.
certainly lead
You're
you
such
down.
a volleyball dad.
That's right. Do you believe that wireless probes are really the future of remote thermometering?
I think they're a tool that a percentage of grill owners will invest in. But I think most backyard cooks are capable of turning out absolutely delicious, phenomenal, fantastic food with a instant read thermometer. And I think that can get the job done for most people. I think that the remote probe thermometers are a little bit maybe either intimidating or cost prohibitive, depending on the brand and the function for a lot of backyard cooks. And I'm not talking about enthusiasts, because enthusiasts, where barbecue is their hobby, which those are kind of the people we hang out with. So that's who we hear from the most often in the community, is like, wow, game changer. Everything's better. We all need one. But the amount of like real hobbyists compared to people who casually cook barbecue maybe 1 or 2 times a week, it's less a hobby and more a means to an end. I don't think a majority of those backyard cooks will really feel the compulsion to own something at that level of tech and at that price point. So I think that they are awesome, and I think that a lot of people will really utilize them and love them and benefit from having them. But I think a majority really of backyard cooks, a great instant read thermometer is baseline, and it'll do everything you need.
I'm trying to wrap my head around this, because finally this year there's going to be some really good quality remote or wireless remote thermometering systems. ThermoWorks has one. Fireboard has just come out with one as well. Meter has tried to step their game up with some revision of whatever piece of crap they were selling, before for years, and trying to bilk people out of millions of dollars. I said it and you didn't. But there's going to be some really great options. So with you saying what you've said, I'm now questioning what kind of a charge or bandwagon this wireless thing is going to be. And I now am comparing it to grill manufacturers sticking Wi-Fi and having apps for their grills so you can bump the temperature up and down and see where the temperature's at on your internal meats, this, that, and the other thing. And I've always questioned the grill manufacturers going, well, do you have any data that shows what percentage of your consumer is actually using that? Or do you feel as the manufacturer that you have to provide this? Because if you don't, even if nobody uses it, they might preclude you from buying because this grill has it and you don't. Yeah, right. So now I'm trying to figure this out now.
I would say that I speak mostly in my business and my brand and across social media to people at the beginning stages of their barbecue journey, not necessarily to the expert or the avid hobbyist. And I posted quite a bit about, one of the new thermometers that was coming out online. And the only messages that I got in reply about that particular thermometer came from people who are in the barbecue community, who have their own barbecue social media handles. Not a lot of my regular everyday backyard folks were super excited about that particular item. So I do think it's going to have I think those types of thermometers are going to have a very dedicated and vocal fan base within the barbecue community. And I think they will be able to bring in people who are maybe starting to consider barbecue as more of a hobby for them and not just this is how I cook dinner sometimes. So I think they will have a market, and I think they'll have a decent market, and I think these types of products will be successful. But the onus is going to be on these manufacturers to really sell the need of this type of product to the average backyard cook. Because I think it will be considered more of a techie specialty item and not a necessity, if that makes sense.
When we were together in June at this ThermoWorks event, we were having dinner at a large countryside mountainous estate. We were having some conversation. You had mentioned that you were like pretty much you had written a book, but you hadn't taken it over the goal line, I think is what I kept saying. And you're like, you got to help me get this book over the goal. We were trying to figure out a whole bunch of things. And I said, well, geez, you've done the hardest part, which is actually write the book. This is the other stuff is like handing it off and go, where are we at? Are we going to see a Susie Bullock, Hey Grill, Hey book?
Yes, I'm actually interviewing literary agents right now.
Really?
So we're going to go traditional publishing.
Yes.
And do a little bit of a book tour and a media tour. So right now it's finding the right agent and locking down the right publisher. But it's in the hands of the path now. We're moving forward. So it's good.
How are you picking a literary agent? What are things most important to you?
I got a lot of recommendations from friends of people that they worked with and that they published with in the past. And I actually looked at some of my favorite books that I've seen published and cracked the covers and saw who their agents were in the, kind of credits and about, and thanks to my publisher pages. So I compiled a list of people that helped produce books that I really, really liked reading and I liked looking at and I love owning, and I'm reaching out to all of them. And so it's kind of, I think we're going to be working pretty closely together. So somebody that I have a good rapport with and a good relationship and has a great track record of books that I like those are kind of my main priorities.
Has anybody talked about getting you immediately into a multi-book deal?
No, I think we'll see once we start bringing stuff to publishers what level their interest is.
You have multiple books in you, do you think?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, my website has over 600 recipes on it. So the well has yet to run dry in terms of the type of recipes that I like to develop and my particular method of teaching to, like I said, kind of that beginner backyard enthusiast, and really making things really simple and really approachable and really successful without necessarily having to have a ton of experience under your belt. That's my sweet spot. So I can talk about that stuff all day long. So if they need recipes, I can keep churning out recipes, but we'll see.
All right, so we'll grab an update as we close out 2024 where this book is going to be coming in and when we might be able to expect it. Labor Day is coming very soon. For some people, that signifies the end of the grilling season, but nonsense. Any favorites that you guys make every year or anything like new that you're going to try out this year?
Oh, man. I'm trying to think what I even have on the docket. So honestly, this is going to sound crazy, but we are getting all of our turkey kit stuff in right now.
Oh, right.
So we usually run a couple of months ahead on content. So we are doing turkey is happening end of September, early October for us.
Wow.
So I know. So that's probably what we're going to be working on is some smoked turkey.
Are you a big briner?
I am.
Yeah?
Yes. Yeah, I'm a big briner. And I am a wet briner. I know that there's camps in Brinesville if you are on team dry brine or team wet brine, but I like a wet brine.
Is it because of the denaturing of meats to a degree, or do you find that there is a influx of flavor that, dry brining is just salt, obviously, that you're sprinkling over the top, but do you feel like you're getting an extra flavor boost?
I do. And there are people that argue the particles are too big. Like obviously a sprig of rosemary is not getting in there. But when we talk about I brine in an apple juice and liquid flavor is actually able to penetrate in certain ways. So I do a liquid brine. I think flavor is great. But for me, the real differentiator is I love the texture of a wet brine. I find it a little bit softer. Mm-hmm. And you'll hear people describe you get a really juicy bite on something that's dry brined and you get the salinity all the way through and it has a very particular texture. Wet brining also has a particular texture and I find it a little bit softer and that's just preferential to my palate. So after doing all of the kinds, wet brining seems to be my preferred method.
If you have questions, you can just run right over to Susie's website and see what she's got posted there. HeyGrillHey.com, the website. Please tell Todd I said hi. Great seeing you in person. And Todd, obviously, in June. And good luck this coming weekend at this competition that you're leaving for tomorrow. We'll get all the results next time.
Yeah, so excited. We've got 2 all-women's teams, and last year they didn't have any women's teams. So this year we're bringing the heat and hoping to take home some stuff. And next time we're together, we have to talk about these.
What is that? Oh, gloves?
It's just a little tease.
All
we
right.
have developed some custom Hey Grilling gloves.
All right. So we're going to talk about that as well. Susie, always appreciate the time, and we'll talk to you in a couple months.
Okay, we'll see you, Greg.
All right. There she is, Susie Bullock right there, HeyGrillHey.com, the website, and, of course, HeyGrillHey on social media. I just nailed the post right there, Maddie. Wow.
That was good.
Great.
That was really good.
I can't even see anything. I'm blind over here.
Am I doing a read?
Yeah.
This
You're
one.
gonna. You want me to do it?
I can do it.
You're going to have to do it next week.
I know.
That's why we're practicing.
All right.
All right. You take it away.
Okay. Are you
and begin.
Okay. Are you ready to score that perfect 180 on chicken, ribs, pork, or brisket? Big Papa Smokers has you covered with the best rubs, sauces, and injections in the business. For a limited time, use promo code BBQ Central and get 10% off all Big Papa Smokers products. That's right, 10% off the secret ingredients that championship teams swear by and win with, weekend in and weekend out. Don't miss out on this incredible offer. Whether you're aiming for a GC at your next barbecue contest or you're just looking to take your barbecue and grilled foods to the next level of awesomeness, remember, your food just got better with Big Papa. Offer valid through October 31st. Visit BigPapaSmokers.com and use promo code BBQ Central. That's BigPapaSmokers.com, promo code BBQ Central.
Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Craig Rimpey.
I see me on the confidence monitor. Shocking. I keep thinking I'm going to be, when I look up, that I'm in my normal. Remember, I'm so used to doing it one way. Now I'm doing it a completely different way, and it's like I look up to see, and I'm like,
It's only for this week.
Wah, 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 woo.
It's only this
Wah,
week.
wah, wee.
Oh, okay. You should get a sound of that on here.
I did have it at one point. Smoking Joe's Pit Barbecue weighing in through the instant chat. Dear men, if you find a very beautiful girlfriend like Susie and she likes barbecue, marry her ASAP. Good advice, Smoking Joe's Pit Barbecue. By the way, Joe, do we have an update on Martin Martinez and his barbecue food truck in El Paso, Texas? What's the update, Joe? Or should I call you Martin? Maddie, do you think Joe Martinez is actually Martin Martinez?
Sure.
Yes, of course.
Of course.
Of course he is. Everybody knows that.
Yes, he is.
All right, we thank Susie Bullock for joining us last segment. Maddie, give us an update on the YouTube poll question of the week. Do you prefer smash burgers or regular hamburgers?
Regular burgers is at 45%, and 55% of people are preferring smash burgers.
All right.
Me too.
I love smash. But you like? I was going to ask you if you like smash or regular.
I don't. I think I.
Have we
prefer-
overdone the smash burgers? You know, when we do something new here in this house, it's like
You do it
guys
again
hate
and
pork
again.
tenderloin. You guys hate chicken thighs. You hate a lot of great food that I make because I've
you
just
say chicken thighs?
Chicken thighs.
I eat chicken thighs. Bobby doesn't.
Oh,
Bobby doesn't like
anything.
grilled chicken. She's weird.
Yes.
If it's chicken, I will eat it. Pork,
Yeah, no pork tenderloin for you.
no.
Too much?
I just
Too
I
much
don't
as a
think I've-
youth?
No, I just don't think I've I don't know. Pork is, it's just not my favorite. I would rather have something else.
You like pulled pork?
Yeah.
Like pulled pork separated out of pork tenderloin, pork loin.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we've done too many smash burgers, is what you're saying. We just got into the groove too much.
No.
That's
not what I'm saying.
All right.
I like smash burgers, but I also like regular burgers.
Yes.
Because when you go to Five Guys, regular burger, but Shake Shack, smash burger.
Oh yeah.
And they're both good.
No, Shake Shack way better than Five Guys.
Really?
Don't you think?
I've only had Shake Shack once.
Give me a drum roll. Everybody in the instant chat. Subsequent YouTube poll question of the week: which one is better, Five Guys or Shake Shack? I am, of course, giving you the right answer by saying Shake Shack, but I am a fan of Five Guys, and the newest one next to our house, or by our house, has stepped up their game. We went there not too long ago, and it was much better than the first time we went. The first time we went was trash. It was unexpected. It was almost heartbreaking.
But do you think Shake Shack is better because they're doing smash burgers?
It's just about, to me, taking the type out of the equation. I just always had a more consistent and magical experience at Shake Shack with their burgers. I mean, F the fries. I don't care about that. Five Guys wins on fries, and it's not even close.
Yeah.
Five Guys wins on fries. I'm about to make a very bold statement. Five Guys wins on fries across the board of restaurants. Best fries ever. They're great. Oh, no? You don't think?
I'm just saying because it's a controversial statement. I think.
And the amount that they give you, like small fry, they fill up the little small thing, but then they throw in 8 scoops of fries in the bag. So if you've never been to Five Guys and you're by yourself, just get the small fry and thank me later. Or get the
kids fry.
Get the fat large fry and then go, oh my God.
Have fries for a week.
Lesson learned. He was right in Cleveland. He said don't do that. He said get the small fry. It's more manageable for one human. Or large fry if you got 2 or 3 people. Plenty. Plenty. But they are easily the best fries across the board. Don't give me McDonald's. Don't talk to me about Wendy's fries.
What about curly fries?
No. Not even from Arby's?
Yeah.
No, not even close. Those are some trash fries.
You know who has bad fries? And this is going to be a big statement for me.
All right, let's hear it.
Because it's one of my favorite places.
Roll it before you say, one of your favorite places?
Wingstop has terrible fries.
Oh, no. Soldier Boy, plug your ears.
I'm not a fan.
Wow.
Every time I get Wingstop, I think to myself, I should not get the fries. I know every time I get them, I'm disappointed. They're not crispy.
What are you getting them for every time?
They're really
then?
fat.
What?
They're really fat, like thick.
What?
Oh,
fat. Yes.
And the normal fry seasoning that they put on them is kind of sweet, and I don't love it. But you can change it, and you can get the Cajun seasoning, and that makes it a little bit better. But no matter how many times I put well done, extra cook time for the fries,
trash.
They're just never crispy, but that also could be because they're sitting in a closed bag.
Yeah, but it's only 3 minutes from here to there.
That too.
They're not dying in transit.
Yeah. I have the same conversation with Steve every time. I'm like, I know I should not
what
be
are you getting them for?
I stopped.
Oh,
I
all
stopped
right.
getting fries.
Thank goodness.
The last time we got them, oh my gosh, Smokin' Joe's Pit Barbecue just said Wingstop is trash all the way around.
No doubt. Joe, you're
Wrong.
right. Joe, you were wrong on a lot of things this year. A lot of things. You are right.
No.
When it comes to that. Wingstop is straight up trash.
That is crazy.
It's ass.
When was the last time you had Wingstop?
The first time I had it, and guess what? It sucked, so I never went back. I learned my lessons.
And you want to know something? When I was in Florida,
When were you in Florida?
Last week.
What?
Don't do this.
What were we?
Don't do this.
I just kidding. I know you were
Last
there.
week, when I was talking to Grandma and Pops, they said that there is a Rempy trait where if you go somewhere and it's bad the first time, you never go back. And I was like, yeah, that's how my dad is with Swenson's. Because you don't like Swenson's.
I've went there many times. Trash.
I don't agree with that
I
either.
will not opt to go there anymore. Look, you're taking my time. How much time is left?
6 minutes.
All right. I got to get through
6
this.
minutes and
Otherwise,
40 seconds.
Otherwise, we're not going to make it. Let me tell you, drum roll, please, for everybody. Actually, Matt in Indiana wrote in weeks ago, hey, Greg, just started listening and really enjoy the show. I've been cooking on the Big Green Egg for a while, but recently purchased a Rectech Dual Fire 1200. I'm reaching out to see if there is a spot on the website or a way that I could purchase a BBQ Central Show shirt, maybe an apron, or some stickers I could put on my coolers. Thanks, and look forward to new shows as well as going back and listening to the ones from years past. Regards, Matt. Matt, you have a long and extensive archive to get back to on the live show only, starting February 7th of 2008, if you can believe it. So large, sweeping archive, and then 2 years before that in podcast, which you probably can't find anymore, but I have those shows if you're interested. I don't normally sell stuff to my audience. I'm not that kind of a host. I'm not that kind of a guy. I'm not here to make money off the back of my audience. I'm not going to sell you cushioned chairs. I'm not going to send you branded microphones. I'm not going to sell you stupid stickers or anything like this, or T-shirts. That being said, there was a point in time, I think 2018, I did the rebrand, got the new logo. I made a crap load of T-shirts, starting with extra large and then going to double XL and then 3X fat, 4X fat, and 5X fat. And I was selling them. And do you know what? Not a one of you mother effers even bought it. And I said, you know what? Lesson learned right there. So people told me, don't get into the shirt business thinking that you're going to make money. And if I'm going to do it, I'm a businessman. I'm all about cheddar. I want that high cheese. But all I ended up with was like 55X fat shirts. And what can I do with those? Nothing. Cover up in the winter? All right, but then what? So I threw them all out. But now I've been getting emails about shirts. So I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. Let me continue to live in hypocrisy and say that if you want this shirt that I have on right now, allow me to move my microphone so you can see it. Maddie, what does it say?
This shirt says the BBQ Central Show. We'll do it live, and it has the year on it.
So it's like a election shirt, except it has nothing to do with politics. The BBQ Central Show 24 tagline, we'll do it live. If you want the shirt that I am wearing right now, the election style shirt, and if you are listening on podcast and you want to see what it looks like, hit the video archive if you want. I will take your orders now through the end of September. So you have 6 weeks, roughly. Here's what we're going to do. You have 6 weeks. So at the end of September, I will put in one order. I will accumulate all the orders from the folks. I will then put in one order. And then once they come to me here in Cleveland, I will send them to you individually. Does that sound fair? Here's your chance to buy a show shirt and show what a great fan you are. Pricing as follows. And by the way, I'm not making any money at this. This is dead broke cost. Normal sizes, which means small through extra large, $35 for the shirt. And remember, that price includes me shipping it to you in a regular mail or envelope. It's not coming priority or anything. Size 2XL, $37. Size 3XL, $39. Size 4XL, $41. Size 5XL, $43. Size 6XL. You're not allowed to have a shirt. I'm fat shaming you. Get your freaking health in order and get to a respectable and more healthy 5XL for Pete's sake. 6XL? Fat? You gotta be kidding me. There are better things to spend your money on than my shirt if you're at 6XL. Mainly a salad. That's better money spent. Wow. Again, I will take your orders now through the end of September. I will then order the shirts for those who have paid me. I'm not floating the boat on this one. I will send you your shirts after I am paid. We get the order in. They come to my house. I will ship them out to you in a timely manner. And I know a lot of you are laughing at that, but I will do it in a timely manner because this is business and business is business. So maybe sometime in October, you will have the shirt and then you can wear it every day if you want. I don't give a shit. It washes just fine. I've worn the shirt many times now, owning it. It's very comfortable. I probably would have sized down a little bit. I would have went to a large. I know, shocking. Also, I do want to promote Hartville Hardware's Grill Fest 10th Annual, September 21st. It's happening. Mike Lang doing the Weber demo. Captain Ron doing the Big Green Egg demo. New this year on the demo stage, Matt Frampton, Pizziola de Pizziolas, doing the pizza demo. And, of course, our pal Danielle Bennett, a.k.a. Diva Q, doing the Traeger demos. So if you're going to be live, local, and late breaking around the greater Cleveland area, September 21st, I'm inviting you to go down south and then a little bit east, about an hour, to the Hartville Hardware Store where Grill Fest, the 10th anniversary, will be taking place. And all day long, your humble host will be hosting and emceeing the events all the way through. So, again, that is Saturday, September 21st. Mike Lang, Captain Ron, Matt Frampton, and Danielle Bennett. Now, we're caught up on the reads, right? We're not?
No.
Well, we have one more on the computer, but no more paper reads.
No more paper reads.
No more paper reads. All right. All right, so we're going to wet our whistles here. We'll come back and wrap the show. Play the big voice guy ID when I'm done talking. Remember that one? BBQ Central Show ID over on the other deck. Remember that one? You don't remember it? I can't hear you.
I'm getting to it.
All right. We'll be back right after this. Stick around.
Let's get back to a guy who has more experience giving you his opinion than he actually has cooking. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Oh, give me 1 second here. This portion of the show is sponsored by JRE Tobacco, a family-run brand and a vertically integrated manufacturer known for its authentic Corojo tobacco grown at the JRE Tobacco Farm in Honduras.
Corojo.
Sorry. This is the original Cuban seed of Corojo. Its flavor characteristics Its flavor characteristics are unique, and it brings you back to the golden era of cigars in Cuba from 1947 to 1961. Their approach in blending prioritizes flavor to give contemporary smokers a sensational experience with a range of blends, making sure there is something for everyone to enjoy. Find a retailer near you by visiting jretobacco.com.
Oh, yes. One of my favorites. I love the Corojo Reserva. It's one of my favorites.
I don't smoke cigars. I don't
don't
know.
understand why. I have so many to choose from to tickle your palate. So you can say, oh, I think I will like this one. Oh, I think I like that one. This one is too rich. This one's too gross. But it's too stinky and smelly, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
You're missing out on a flavor experience. And they're not addictive. And there have been medical studies that have proven, also I have cigar experts on the show, that you can smoke 1 to 2 a day. It has no negative health impacts on you at all. And there's medical, clinical, information to back that up. This isn't just me talking up. Yeah, there were medical studies done, and it's been shown. That's why the federal government had to declassify premium hand-rolled cigars so they weren't lumped in with cigarettes and the shitty cigars like the ones that have Tampas and the Phillies blunts that you kids smoke when you put the weed in there. Those are not premium hand-rolled cigars. So those are now being put in a separate category altogether. So we thank our pals over at JRE Tobacco and, of course, the Aladino Lounge over in Greensburg. They have a Aladino sponsored lounge over in Greensburg from Nick Lagausta, I believe is the name of that cigar shop over there. Just moments away from Bobby's home, so or wherever she's living nowadays.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Once again, Maddie, before we close up shop here, let's get a final tally on where we are with smash burgers or regular burgers in the YouTube poll question of the week.
47% of people prefer regular burgers and 53% prefer smash burgers.
All right. So smash burgers are going to win it. All right. Go ahead and fade us out. Let's go ahead and make tracks out of here this evening. We've said all we can possibly say here. All the way back in the first hour, Wes Wright joined us from cookoutnews.com. And we talked about Nexgrill. We talked about wireless new thermometers, some other things as well. Second hour, Susie Bullock from Hey Grill Hey was on, and we talked about Labor Day menu items. We talked about where wireless thermometers might fit, in her opinion, into the general consuming public. We also talked about the high honor that was given to her meeting me in person, middle of June at ThermoWorks event. Who would love that? And then, sprinkled throughout the show is the latest and only and current show producer and engineer who will also be hosting the show on August 27th, which is a week from tonight, Maddie Rempe. And she has plenty of content to share with you next week, plus a potential high-level interview. Go ahead.
If I may, I just need to address this one comment that just came in.
Do you need to pause the music? Go ahead. You can pause.
Oh, okay. Just really quick. Oh, wow. Now it's really quiet.
Yes, well, that's what happens.
Somebody said, what makes this great
Who
is
said it?
Guy the Cooking Sam.
Oh, ne'er-do-well.
Not Sam the Cooking Guy, my
Ne'er-do-well.
friend.
Yes.
He says, what makes this great is that it's clear that your kids never listen to your show. I feel for you, Greg. And I would just like to say this because I addressed this. When did I say this? When did I say this? The other day. On our stealth
cast. That was yesterday.
And now I have to call you out because I said I might not listen to it and watch it on my phone, but my bedroom is right above us.
That's right.
So I hear it every Tuesday night.
At least 50% of everything.
For the full 2 hours.
Yeah.
I hear it all. So don't say that I don't listen to the show.
Maybe we should ban Guy the Cooking Sam from the show next week.
Don't watch the show.
We'll just
I will
ban
find it.
We won't even tell him. We'll just ban him.
Yeah, I like that.
I have that ability. I can go onto the internet and I can ban people.
That's good.
Yes.
I don't like this. Okay. Back to this now.
All right. Not sure exactly. Oh, Maddie was sprinkled. So she's going to host the show next Tuesday, 8:27. The whole 2 hours. and then I'll be back the following week. So, How Do I Always Leave? September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. And until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg.
You're listening to the BBQ Central Show. Some call
I
him a fool,
missed
some even call him a
it.
douchebag. But I say
All right,
Greg
hold on a
Rempe
second.
is the greatest thing to happen to the...
You want him to play?
Now, hold on a second.
Okay.
We'll just reset this real quick. Hit the stop button on that particular deck, because that'll just reset it.
Uh-huh.
Leave it there.
Okay.
So, How Do I Always Leave You? September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. And until a week from this coming Tuesday, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe, saying, Shabbat!
Nice.
Now you can play the same.
It's Sam the Cooking Guy, and you're listening to the BBQ Central Show. Some call him a fool, some even call him a douchebag. But I say Greg Rempe is the greatest thing to happen to barbecue since cavemen.